Mr. President.
Senator from Tennessee.
Thank you, Mr. President. You know, I was thinking a bit earlier today about what we were doing at this time last year. And we were busy hosting Tennessee Tuesdays and welcoming Tennesseans and families and children with just such curiosity and bright eyes and lots of questions about our nation's government and about these beautiful buildings in which we work every day, and about the job that we have in representing them. I like that curiosity, and I like that energy that generally is brought to our chambers and to our work during the summertime. And this year, things really are a little bit different, and I think it is a very worthwhile exercise. And I appreciate that my colleagues are participating in this exercise to remind ourselves why this year is different. And the answer, of course, as to why is this year different is because of the Chinese Communist Party. They are the ones that are to be held responsible, to be blamed for the sickness, the chaos, for this crisis that we have had, which is a health, food, and financial crisis, all rolled into one. And it has happened because of decisions that China made, decisions that were made by the Chinese Communist Party's leadership. There are some things that are the known knowns, if you will. They're the things that we know happened as you look back over what has happened with COVID-19. What we know is this. On December 31st, 2019, government officials in Wuhan, China, confirmed they were monitoring the spread of a disease that looked a lot like pneumonia. They didn't know exactly what it was, didn't have all the markers, but a lot. But on New Year's Eve, they let us know, hey, we got a problem out here. Just days later, they confirmed it was caused by a novel virus that had infected dozens of people. We now know it was hundreds of people. It wasn't until January 23rd, however, that authorities shut off Wuhan from the rest of the country. By this time, the virus was spreading like wildfire. And Mr. President, let's pay close attention to what I just said. They shut off Hubei province. They shut off Wuhan, not from the rest of the world, not from other countries, but from the rest of China. Don't you dare go anywhere else in our country. This is contagious. Now, as if that 23-day gap wasn't bad enough, credible watchdog reports revealed that the CCP, Chinese Communist Party, lied. They lied to global health officials about the danger posed by the virus for not just a day or two while they figured it out, but for 51 days before they sounded the alarm and said, listen up, pandemic, 51 days. This deception allowed a regional outbreak to spread into a global pandemic that has so far killed more than 140,000 Americans. Now, it would be easy to chalk all of this up to incompetence and overwhelmed bureaucrats, but every member of this body knows that is not what happened. And that's why over the past few weeks, more and more of my colleagues here in the Senate have agreed to support legislation that will allow Americans to hold China accountable for the destruction caused by the pandemic. On Monday, Senator McSally introduced the Civil Justice for Victims of COVID Act, a bill that I am very pleased to support and to be a co-sponsor. This bill contains elements of my Stop COVID Act, which I introduced earlier this year. It would strip Chinese officials of their sovereign immunity for reckless actions that caused the pandemic and would give our federal courts the authority to hear claims that China has caused or contributed to the COVID-19 pandemic. This is not an unusual step. We did this after 9/11 for the 9/11 families. And what we would do is give them the opportunity to go to court and make their case, hold China accountable. Mr. President, it's time for this body to reject the artificial backstops that some of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle use to protect China from criticism. And I encourage those colleagues to ask themselves, what are you afraid will happen if we hold China accountable for what they have done? What do you fear? We've known for years that Beijing uses every tool in its toolbox to spy on us. Look at what we've learned about Huawei. They embed the chips in the hardware. You do not know they're there until they activate. We know they steal our intellectual property. Look at what they have done to the music industry, to the entertainment industry, to publishers, to automotive engineers. China, they can't innovate their way to success, so what do? They steal their way to success, and then they lie about it. And China continues to cause chaos on the international stage. Look at their work pushing into the South China Sea. Look at what they have done to the freedom fighters in Hong Kong. Look at how they act and how they pressure and try to stifle Taiwan. This is standard operating procedure for the Chinese Communist Party. Now, because they chose to lie and not come forward, we have more than 140,000 Americans who are dead. Millions more have lost their jobs, and they have lost their sense of community. How much further are we willing to let this go? Because I will tell you this. As I, every single day, talk to Tennesseans about China and what has happened with China and how China has not been an honest broker, not only in this, but for decades. Tennesseans have had enough. I yield the floor.